Hello students and welcome to the second part of the application. Myself Shankho Ghosh, Assistant Professor of Automobile Engineering Department at Dr. Sudhir Chandra Sood Degree Engineering College under the JIS group. Today we'll continue the next class that is on the topic on this is application. This is the module number 11, the title of common application of NDT, and this topic is taken from the subject of non-destructive testing and application. This is the 7th semester automobile engineering students syllabus subject, and the subject code is AUE 705A. So students, in the previous class, we discussed the applications, and for the purpose of applications we discuss on rail inspection, and now today we'll discuss the other various parts of various application methods. So students, let's start the today's class. So as I told in the next class, in the previous class, we discussed various type of application among these 7. So in between we already complete the rail inspection, and now we will discuss this Liberty Bell inspection. So students, let's start with this Liberty Bell inspection. The Liberty Bell, which is previously called the State House Bell or the Old State House Bell, it is an iconic symbol of American independence, which is located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Once the place is the staple of a Pennsylvania State House, the bell today is located in the Liberty Bell Center in Independence National Historical Park. So students, the bell is now located in the Liberty Bell Center in Independence National Historical Park. The bell was commissioned in 1757 by the Pennsylvania Provincial Assembly from the London firm of Leicester and Peck, and it was cast with the lettering proclaiming the liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. The bell, nowadays you can see there is a crack in the bell. The bell was the first crack was rung after its arrival in Philadelphia and was twisted and it was twice recast by the local workman John Pass and the John Stew, whose last names appear on the bell. In its early year, the bell was used to summon lawmakers to legislative session and to alert the citizen about the public meeting and the proclamation. So students, due to some unfortunate incident that occurred on dated April 6th, April 6th or the 6th April of 2001, which is Boeing employees in Philadelphia were given a privilege of evaluating the Liberty Bell or for damage using the NDT techniques. using the NDT techniques. The Liberty Bell is over. The Liberty Bell is over 2000 years old and is one of the US most treasured symbol of liberty. So this bell is nearly or approximately 2000 sorry 200 years old, and this bell, that means the Liberty Bell, is the one of the USA's most treasured USA most treasured symbol of liberty. In the early days, in the early days of American colonies, the Liberty Bell was rung to call the people together for a special announcement or an event. So this bell, in the earlier, this bell was rung to call the people together and announce a special announcement or for the events. Now the Liberty Bell rang out from the tower of Independence Hall. The Liberty Bell was rung out from the tower of Independence Hall on 8th July 1776, which is summoning citizens to hear the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence. So, to declare the independence in publicly in year of 1776 on dated 8th July, the bill was rang out from the tower of the Independence Hall to hear the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence. Next, the bell has a very interesting history. Which includes the cracking on its test ring in 1752. The bell has a very interesting history, which include the cracking on its testing in 1752 and being remelted and recast, which is being remelted and the recast only to have a poor tone, being remelted and recast for a third time in June of 1753. So the bell was a very interesting history for which includes the cracking on the testing in 1752 and then being remelted and recast only to have a poor tone, and then it being remelted and recast for a third time in June of 1753. And sometime before 1846 the bell developed a crack. So sometime before the 1846 the bell developed a crack, and on during its ringing on George Washington's birthday of that year, the crack grew to a length that rendered the Liberty Bell unringable. So sometimes before the year of 1846, That means most probably the year on the birth year of the George Washington, the bell developed a crack. The bell was developed a crack and crack on ringing during its ringing, and the crack grew and the crack grew to a length that reta- rendered the liberty and rendered and then that rendered the liberty bell unringable. The Liberty Bell now rests in the Liberty Bell Pavilion. The Liberty Bell now rests in the Liberty Bell Pavilion on Independence Mall in Philadelphia. Then the Liberty Bell now rests in the Liberty Bell Pavilion on Independence Mall in Philadelphia. And apparently during a regular tour, a man suddenly began to attack the bell with a hammer. A man suddenly began to attack the Liberty Bell with a hammer. A park service ranger, a park service ran the park service ranger had to tackle the man to end the assault. It was reported that there was minimal damages to the bell, and it was reported that there was a limited damages on the bell, which weighed over 2,000 pounds. However, there was enough concern about the damage for the National Park Service to call on experts to perform an evaluation an evaluation and Boeing was asked to help and Boeing sorry and Boeing was asked to help with the repair because of their expertise in metal structure and because of their expertise in the metal structure and uh, and non-destructive evolution. So Boeing was asked to help with the repair just because of their expertise in metal structure and the non-destructive evolution or ND. And being NDT specialist, non-destructive testing specialist or ND non-destructive equipment specialist, performed a series of non-destructive tests and perform a series of a non-destructive test to evaluate the possible damage to the bill and it also to document the overall structural status and it also documents the overall structural status on the bill and the test includes and these steps includes the radiographs of the bill which are taken where radiographs of the bill that it were taken that were compared to radiographs taken from the 25 years ago. So the non-destructive technician were try to compare the radiograph in between the recent radiograph and the 25 years ago's radiograph to understand its current condition. Number two is second is fluorescent penetration inspection. Fluorescent penetration inspection. It was performed on a small area. It was performed on a small area. And small area of the bell to check for possible crack from the attack, to check the possible crack from the attack. So students, here is the Liberty Bell inspection. So as I told, there are using ultrasonic radiographic methods and the fluorescent dye penetration inspection. And beside this, they also use the ultrasonic inspection, which was performed to attempt to locate ultrasonic inspection, which was used to attempt to locate any internal flaw. Is there possibility or is there any internal flaws within the bell or not? And AD current inspection. Next is an AD current inspection was conducted, and AD current inspection was conducted to map the surface crack on the bell, and the data obtaining from this inspection and the data which is obtaining from the inspection that was used as a baseline to compare and crack propagation, and that may occur in the future. The eddy current methods were used to measure the electrical conductivity of the bell's broadcasting at a various point. Eddy current method also used to measure the electrical conductivity of the this bell broadcasting at a various point to evaluate its uniformity. So here are the pictures of the non-destructive testing, or the pictures of non-destructive testing or NDE testing on the Liberty Bell. Now, after discussion the Liberty Bell inspection, now we'll go for the wire or rope inspection. Wire rope is several strands of metal wire which is twisted into helix forming, into a helix, forming a composite rope in a in the pattern in a pattern which is known as the lead rope. The larger diameter wire rope consists of the multiple strands of such lead where, where the larger diameter wire rope which is consists of multiple strands which is such a sorry such lead rope in a pattern which is known as the Kevin lead. In stricter senses, the term wire rope refer to a diameter refer to a diameter larger than 3 by 8 inch or 9.52 millimeter, and the smaller gauges designed cable or cord. Initially wrought iron were used, but now steel is the main material which is used for the wire rope. And historically, the wire rope evolved from wrought iron chain, which had a record of mechanical failure, while flaws in the chain links or solid steel bar can lead to catastrophic failure. The flaw in the wire making up a steel cable or less critical as the so when the flaw in the wire is making up a steel cable are less critical as the other wire easily taken up the load, while the friction between the individual wire and stand causes wear over the life of the rope. It also helps to compensate for the minor failure in the short run. So students, for the more wire or the wire which is used basically the rope, the instruction, the most skier and the snowboarders rate ski resource by their average power base and the overall quality of a slopes. Few likely give serious consideration to the safety of chair to the safety of chair. It lives at the and lives at their favorite mountain. It is likely, however, that many have looked up at many have many have looked up at that relatively small cable that they are dangling from high in the air and hoped that someone had checked to see that it was a good working condition or not. Luckily, sky resort operators, only luckily sky resort operators and the governing authorities perform regular perform the regular inspection and maintenance of a chair lift and maintain of a chair lift to ensure the passenger safety to ensure the passenger safety. One of the component that get one of the component that get close security in the cable. The wire rope or cable is made by the The wire rope or the cable is made by the weaving many individual wire together. Many individual wire together to, to produce a product that is both strong and flexible. As I see in this picture, where wire rope where the wire rope basically consists of two parts. One is core, another is strain. That strain is again consists of two things. One is wire and second one is center. So at first strain is prepared with the help of a center wire and a different type of individual wire which is waving in a manner that it looks like a strain, and then this strain, then number of strain and a core weaving a proper way to make a rope. So these are the basic design of the wire rope. The wire rope is used. This wire rope is used in many safety critical applications. The wire rope is used in many safety critical many safety critical application. In addition to chair, which is and lift and gondola system. Some of these applications include hosting. Some of the systems including hosting system such as cranes, and winches. Guides were used to tall antenna and tower, and mooring line is all drilling platform to platforms at sea. The cable failure is one of these applications. The cable failure is one of these application which could have very serious consequences all wire rope eventually wear out, making periodic inspection necessary throughout the service life of the rope. Wire rope is prone to damage and wear due to the abrasion, fatigue, corrosion, and the improper handling. The entity personnel look for the localized flaws or loss of metallic cross-sectional area, which is using a variety of inspection methods, which is used for a variety of inspection method. The least sophisticated method is visual inspection. The inspector simply look for the broken strand, wear, and corrosion on the surface of the cable. However, for a more thorough evaluation, a number of instruments have been developed that allow the inspector to access the internal area So so a however, for a more throughout evolution, a number of instruments have been developed and that allow the inspector to access the internal area of the cave. One of the more widely used of these instruments uses magnetism to inspect the rope. The inspection instrument is placed around the wire rope and moved along the rope, or the rope is pulled through the instrument. The rope is pulled through the instrument. The inspection instrument is placed around the wire rope and it moved along the rope, or the rope is pulled throughout the instrument. The strong permanent magnets or electromagnets are being used to create a strong magnetic field within the rope, and the rope is said to be magnetically structured because it was carrying all magnetic flux that it possibly can. And the area where the rope is damaged and the area where the rope is damaged, it can not support as much as the magnet flux, and some of it leaks out of the rope. Sensor in the inspection head detect the magnetic flux leakage caused by the internal and external defects in the rope, and defects as small as 0.05% of the rope cross-sectional area can often be detected. So students, in today class we complete the application and discuss the Liberty Bell inspection and the wear rope inspection. So from this class, students can easily understand about the Liberty Bell, where it is situated and how the crack is generated and how it is maintained. And number two is wear rope. Everyone we are basically use this wear rope in the ESP grounds or in using a series, and they can easily understand about this wear and its consisting, and then how it is maintained. So after this class you come understand about this thing. So students, on the next class we will discuss the rest of the application. So still then, stay at home and stay safe. Thank you so much class.